This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from Denali to the Gulf of Mexico. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking out to the sidewalk to put my ballot in the mailbox, I thought how lucky I live in Oregon. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from Denali to the Gulf of Mexico. This land was made for you and me. I'm home enjoying my 2-day weekend. Thanks to the unions, I get to sleep in with bigger paychecks that I'll be keeping. Unions were made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from Denali to the Gulf of Mexico. This land was made for you and me. Resisting POTUS is not that easy, but we have voices right here in D.C. Merkley, Wyden, and Bonamici. Elections were made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from Denali to the Gulf of Mexico. This land was made for you and me. One more time. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from Denali to the Gulf of Mexico. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, Virginia!
All right, welcome everybody. We got an amazing crowd today. Today is the day that we claim our power. Power to the people. And I wanted to say that you see a whole big group of protesters here. The reality is what you see is a group of activists here, because today you've chosen to take action. And I encourage you in every day, in every way you can, to continue to take action and fight back against tyranny. We're very fortunate here in Oregon to have representation in DC who's watching out for us, putting up a fight every day in every way, and most importantly, finding the truth and bringing the truth to us from DC. And to that end, today, our first speaker I'm going to introduce to you is our great Congresswoman, Suzanne Bonamici.
Thank you so much, Beaverton. Wow. This is amazing, truly amazing. Thank you so much for your energy. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful to be here. Go back to Washington, D.C. on Monday, and I'm taking your energy with me to the fight. And I have to say, this is happening not just here in Beaverton. I was in Hillsborough this morning, but it's happening all across the country. Because we are sending a message to Donald Trump and Elon Musk and the Doge Musketeers that hands off, right? Keep your tiny hands off of our democracy. They're back there cutting, they're laying off federal employees. Keep your hands off the federal employees that are doing great work. or Elon Musk have ever set foot in a public school? No, they don't know what public schools do for our community, for our society, for democracy. They have no clue, and that's why they think it's just okay to get rid of the Department of Education. We say hands off the Department of Education. And I got a message for you, Donald Trump. You can't abolish the Department of Education. Congress created the Department of Education. Only Congress could get rid of it, and we say no. Hands off the Department of Education. I don't even think they know what the Department of Education does, right? They probably don't even know how to spell it. They don't know what it does because they think they're going to get rid of whatever woke curriculum it is. Curriculum's up to the states, right? What the Department of Education does is help close opportunity gaps. It's about civil rights. That's where the education laws came from, the civil rights movement. Title I that helps low-income students, right? I've been an education advocate for decades. No one has ever said to me, we need less funding for students with disabilities. It's always fully fund the IDEA, right? But importantly, most importantly, the largest chunk of money, it's all important, but the largest piece of money that comes from the federal government is for Pell Grants, work study, and student loans to open the doors of higher education for everyone in this country. I would not be where I am today without the Pell Grants and student loans and work study that I use to get through community college, and law school. It's about equalizing opportunity, and they want to close those doors. Now they're going after libraries and museums. Unbelievable. We say no. Hands off. Hands off our libraries. Hands off our museums. Now, you probably heard Elon Musk said that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. Elon Musk, get your hands off of Social Security. Donald Trump, get your hands off of Social Security, Medicare. Those are earned benefits, right? Hands off Social Security. And you know what they want to do to Medicaid? They want to decimate it. Medicaid is health care. It's health care for children. It's health care for low-income families. It's health care and care for seniors. We say, what do we say? Hands off Medicaid cuts. Get away from Medicaid cuts. Now, you know, and this is Oregon, and we value the rights of people to make their own reproductive health care decisions, right? They want a national abortion ban. Don't let them tell you they don't. They want to do that. What do we say? Hands off our bodies. Hands off our bodies. And I tell you, as an Oregonian, I am so proud of our state and the anti-discrimination laws and policies we have to protect the LGBTQ community. We in Oregon understand that this is a civil right. It's the right of everybody to be who they are, to love who they love, without the government telling them what to do or taking away their rights. Hands off civil rights. And in our immigrant community, I tell you, this is a really tough time, a really trying time for our immigrant community. Absolutely devastating. We have people living in fear. And I tell you, when I did a town hall meeting in Hillsborough recently at Century High School with hundreds of people, some of you might have been there. After the town hall meeting, a fourth grader gave me a note. She hand wrote this note on lined paper. And she said, I'm afraid in school that ICE is going to come into my school and take my friends. I'm afraid that when I'm on the bus going home, ICE is going to get on the bus. And I'm afraid for my friends when they get home that their parents won't be there. That is a message from a fourth grader. And I said to Donald Trump and Elon Musk and his whole deportation mission, hands off of our immigrant community. And I tell you, they're trying to tell everybody that they're doing this to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. Nonsense. What they're doing is not saving any money. It's wreaking havoc across the country. And with their deportation, they sent somebody from El Salvador who had protected status, legally right to be in the United States, and they shipped him off to a prison in El Salvador, and then they said, oops, we made a mistake. That's atrocious. They've got to turn that around. And a judge has now ordered the administration to bring that man back by Monday. So it's part of our checks and balances working. It's part of our checks and balances working, but I want to also say I've worked on climate change issues since I joined Congress. And we made some progress. We didn't do as much as we need to do, but we've made some progress, especially in the last Biden administration. They want to reverse that. We say hands off of the work that we did to protect our climate. Hands off. So we are fighting. We are fighting every day. We're litigating. We're fighting against bad legislation like the horrible bill that passed the Senate last night. Now when I go back on Monday, they want to pass a bill to limit voting rights. What do we say? Hands off our elections, right? They're trying to pass a bill that says you have to have your birth certificate with you to register to vote. And if it doesn't match your ID, you can't vote. Hey, has anybody here ever changed their name? They're trying to disenfranchise mostly women. And we say hands off our elections. So every day we're fighting through legislation, we're fighting through litigation, and we're fighting through loud voices like this. And it's every day around the country, people are stepping up. And look what happened the other day. Donald Trump issued this tariff order. Now there's a place for tariffs, and we want U.S. manufacturing, but this is a disaster, right? It's going to raise the cost. He said it's going to lower costs. He's not. This is going to raise the cost on every Oregonian and American. And he signed it and then flippantly went down to Florida to play golf. So let's make sure he's not helping the economy, he's destroying it. So let's say this, it's loud enough so he hears us at Mar-a-Lago. Hands off our economy. Hands off our economy. So you energize me, you inspire me every day. Please do your part, stay involved. They want to wear us out. They want so much chaos that we turn around and say, oh, we're giving up. We are not giving up, we are not going back, right? So one of the things there's so many things to talk about, but I see the sign that says hands off science research. I serve on the Science, Space, and Technology Committee as well as the Education Committee, and what they're doing through cuts to the National Science Foundation, to our National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, to the National Institutes of Health, hands off our science, hands off our scientific research. This is about saving lives, right? Well, get your hands off our research. Now, Oregonians, these are your tax dollars, and they should be used for policies that create a better future for Oregonians and Americans. A better future where people can live safely and in peace and not be discriminated against, and know that the next generation is going to have a better life and better opportunities. That's the better future that we want to invest in as Oregonians, as Americans. So we are fighting every step of the way. How about Cory Booker the other night, right? Woo! Pretty amazing, right? Breaking records, amazing. And right now we have colleagues like my friend and colleague Maxwell Frost doing a town hall meeting in a Republican district. That is happening across the country because the Republicans were basically instructed, don't do town hall meetings, because they realize that their policies don't work in red districts either, as well as blue districts. Like, hands off our veterans benefits, right? Hands off our veterans benefits. So now Democrats are going to those districts to hear the people, and they're hearing that people do not want these policies. And so we're fighting every step of the way. Thank you. Do not give up. Do not give in. Stay in touch. Tell your stories. Keep your voices loud. Keep in touch with my office and our senators' offices. We're in the fight together. One more time. Hands off democracy. One more time. Hands off democracy. Thank you.
All right. One more time, big cheer for our Congresswoman Bonamici, fighting the good fight for us in Washington. Hands up. Okay. I did want to make sure to mention that this event has been organized completely by volunteers of the Washington County Democrats. Yay! All of our volunteers today are coming out under the leadership of our great Chair Martina. And speaking of Washington County, you know, we can make a big difference if we get involved locally. And it's really important to have very inspiring leaders who we know are fighting for us, including on the Washington County Commission. So it's my honor right now to introduce to you Washington County Commissioner Nafisa.
Hello, Washington County. Why go to across the river when we can do this here? Right? Why haven't we done this before? We're doing it now. Well, I'm Nafisa, Washington County Commissioner for District 1. Beaverton is the city I also represent, so yay, Beaverton! And to everyone who traveled to Beaverton, welcome to Beaverton City. Thank you for showing up today, not just in body, but in purpose. Your presence here is powerful because across the country and right here in Washington County, we are witnessing a wave of fear-based policies threatening our freedoms, our dignity, and our future. And today we stand together to say loudly and clearly, hands off! Hands off our bodies, hands off our rights, hands off our kids, hands off our voices, hands off our freedom, and hands off our tax dollars. We are living in a time when people in power, many from the communities they harm, are using fear to divide us. They are passing laws that strip us of our autonomy, silence our identities, and erase our histories and limit our future. But guess what? We're not backing down.
We're not going back.
We're not going back. I love that. They can legislate from state houses. We organize in the streets. They can issue executive orders. We raise our voices louder. They can try to erase us, but we know who we are, and we are many. Today, from Washington County to every corner of this nation, we say, hands off Black lives, hands off LGBTQ+ lives, hands off Indigenous land, hands off immigrants, hands off students, hands off reproductive health care, hands off working people just trying to make it, and hands off from our veterans and their benefits. This isn't just about policy, it's about power. Who has it? How is it used and who's willing to stand up when it's misused against our neighbors and our communities. As a Washington County Commissioner, I see this every day. The decisions we make locally matter. And so does the courage to speak out against injustices, even when it's coming from a higher up. I know it can feel overwhelming, but let me remind you, you are not alone. Look around you. This movement is bigger than one issue, bigger than one person, bigger than one moment, and it's growing stronger every day because people like you, people who believe in justice, in freedom, and human dignity. So don't let this be just a rally for today. Let it be a spark. Let it call you into a deeper community, louder advocacy, and a bolder action. Keep reaching out to your federal leaders, local leaders. Tell them they need to stay strong against tyranny, that we support our leaders who believe in democracy. They want us tired, they want us discouraged, they want us to give in. They want us dumb by destroying our education funding. But we are organized, we are raising, and we will not let them do this to us. To those in power trying to divide us or distract us, honestly, we won't give up. Is that right, everyone? Are we gonna give up? Hands off! We have one message for the federal administration. What do we say? Hands off! Hands off. Thank you for having me, and it's a great honor to be with you all. And I'm sorry I turned my back to you all, but much love. Hands off.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Fye. One more time for Commissioner Nafisa Fye. Now I'm told that we have a message from Senator Wyden, and we're going to have Chris read that for you right now.
Hello, Washington County. You might have seen me from earlier. I am Chris Promitzer. I am the coordinator for the Washington County Democrats, and it is so glad to see you all today. Thank you. I won't waste too much of your time. I will just read this verbatim. Again, Ron Wyden is very sorry he couldn't make it today just because of the Senate schedule in D.C. So this is what he has to say. Dear friends, I wish I could be with you all instead of here in Washington, D.C. because of the Senate schedule. But I can feel and hear your people power at this rally and others just like it across Oregon and our entire country. And more importantly, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and their Republican accomplices, all too willingly to do their bidding, are feeling and hearing the people power, fighting back against their unprecedented, authoritarian, and unconstitutional assault on American democracy. I am under no illusions. There are plenty of tough fights ahead to undo the damage that's been done and to get our democracy back. But this week showed the cracks are starting to form in this attack by Trump, Musk, and their MAGA marionettes on America. Look at the election results in Wisconsin, where people power prevailed. Look at the Senate, where people power got through to enough Republicans for a majority to reject Trump's tariffs on Canada. And look at Trump's falling approval ratings to know large majorities of Americans aren't on board with Trump's insane trade war, his illegal theft of congressional investments in American infrastructure, healthcare, education, and more. Keep speaking out just like this. Keep the pressure up on all elected officials and keep your eye on the prize by picking your passion, drilling down, and fighting back against the authoritarian takeover of American democracy by Trump, Musk, and their Doge thugs. I'll say this again. This isn't going to be easy. But with all of us doing everything we can, blowing the whistle on this administration's law-breaking and cruelty, we can battle back. And we will win. History shows the pendulum can swing back toward justice even when challenges look bleakest. So a huge thanks to all of you for coming out today and pushing that pendulum back to a better America. Sincerely, US Senator Ron Wyden. Thank you all so much. And thank you again for coming. We sincerely, sincerely appreciate it. Hands off!
All right, I'm going on my chair again. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to try to speak even louder because I understand it's a big crowd and hard for everybody to hear. So we're going to have another speaker. I wanted to mention we've heard from somebody from DC. We've heard from Washington County. Now we're going to hear from Beaverton. And now we talk about a government working right. The government of Beaverton, under the administration of Lacey Beaty, is an example of a city that's getting it right. It's a city that's committed to diversity, committed to the working class, and committed to our everyday needs. And having said that, I'd like to introduce the mayor of Beaverton, Lacey Beaty.
Run from my 7-year-old's lacrosse game to make it over here with you today. But when I left, I looked at her and I said, I'm going to protect your future. I am Lacey Beaty. I am the very lucky mayor of Beaverton. I am also a proud Army combat veteran, a mom. And most importantly, my mother taught me to never be a woman who's been afraid to speak her mind when it matters the most. We're gathered today as a part of a national wave. 1,200 cities across this country are rallying under the same banner. Hands off! And I'm proud of Beaverton for once again showing up, and we estimate there's probably 4,000 to 5,000 people in the audience today. But here's the thing. This is not the first time Beaverton stood up. In 2017, I proudly led Beaverton to be the first sanctuary city in the city of Oregon. To say, no matter where you're from, no matter what you look like, you belong here. We weren't asking for permission then, and we are most certainly not asking for permission now to do the right thing. Unfortunately, here we are again, because the attacks on our community haven't stopped. They've escalated. What we're seeing from this administration is not about efficiency. It's about erasing us and erasing our rights, silencing our voices, and consolidating power for themselves. And Elon Musk is busy shutting down Social Security offices from the desk of a desk bunker because he's too afraid to face audiences like this. And if this sounds like a bad Netflix series, you're right, but it's tragic because it's our real life. If Elon Musk can launch a Tesla into space for shits and giggles, I should be able to make personal decisions about my own body, my daughter's bodies, without ever asking for permission. We need to be clear, this is about control. It's about gutting the institutions that me, our parents, and the greatest nation on this, or greatest generation of this nation fought for 80 years ago. It's not lost on me that this is the month 80 years ago that we won World War II, because the same things that we're fighting for right now. families, veterans, young people to just sit back, be quiet, and take it. No, not today, and never in Beaverton. As someone who wore the uniform, I swore an oath to defend freedom, not some watered-down version of it, but all of it. And I'm married to an active duty Army officer. I know what sacrifice looks like. What they're doing in DC is not sacrifice. And as somebody that is raising 2 daughters, I refuse to let them and the daughters of Beaverton grow up with less power than I did. But we're not just here to resist. It is important, but we cannot just be about resisting. We have to organize. We have to organize like my daughter's lives depend on it, because it does. Your kids' lives depend on our ability to move from a demonstration to gaining back the power that our grandparents fought for. And we have to protect one another. Beaverton has never been afraid to stand up, and we've never been afraid to sit down. We are never going to sit down. So let's be loud. Let's be proud. Let's remind the country that even in smaller cities like this in Oregon, we show up, we fight back, and most importantly, we will never back down. I grew up as an organizer, so I would be doing organization no justice if I didn't leave you with a call to action. So let's be clear, we need to stay informed. You do not get the luxury of turning the TV off. Keep yourself updated on policy changes and understand how it impacts our community. Engage with local leaders like me. I see leaders in the audience. I saw Senator Lisa Reynolds over here in the back. I see one of your park members, Barbie Miner, standing over here. Metro Councilor Gerritt Rosenthal in the audience. And there's probably more that I can't see. Keep talking to your local leaders. We are the level of government closest to the people. We are the ones that understand what you are doing. Mobilize, organize, join local advocacy groups, attend community meetings, participate in peaceful protests, and make sure that we know that everyone's life depends on it. Vote! Vote like your life depends on it! We have school board races coming up. We have special district park races coming up. Don't think that local elections don't matter. Our special district park contributed $5.5 million of their fund for affordable housing because their last board said it wasn't their job to house poor kids. Vote! And support affected communities. Extend your solidarity to those that have been directly impacted by policy, whether it's through the power of the purse. Some of us can write checks, volunteering on local races, or simply lending an ear. All acts of support count. Today, this rally is a spark. Let's keep the flame alive by committing to ongoing actions and ensuring our voices continue to resonate. Together we can and will make a difference. So let's say it together. Hands off our bodies! Hands off our health care! Hands off our LGBTQI neighbors! That was a mouthful, but we got it. Hands off our immigrant families! Hands off our democracy! And most important, hands off our future! Yeah, Beaverton!
All right. One more big cheer for our great Honorable Mayor, Lacey Beaty. Okay, we're just getting to the point where I'm going to send you all back to line the streets, let everybody know we're here. But I just wanted to have one of our Metro councilors have a quick word. So I'm going to introduce you, Gerritt Rosenthal from Metro Council.
Thank you very much. I just want to say, first of all, what she said. It also hands off the Constitution, okay? And I just want to assure you that The Metro Council supports you to a person. We will not abandon diversity, equity, and inclusion. We will not abandon the immigrant families in our neighborhood. And Councilor Gonzalez is out in Hillsborough gave a talk earlier this morning, and I just came from downtown Portland. We will also stand with Portland. There were about 10,000 people down there. It's great. And now I don't want to stand in the way. I want everybody else to get active, and thank you very much.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for being here. We have a few things. We have more music in a minute. If you haven't visited the table, here's our table. There is water and everything. But one thing I really want to say is echoing the last few speakers. There's lots you can do. Every Friday at 4 o'clock, there are rallies at the Washington County, at the Beaverton Social Security Office, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock over on 2nd and Lombard. Be there. We have a couple hundred people, 100 people showing up. Be there and stand with us. Do not interfere with our Social Security. Every Thursday at 4 o'clock, we have people standing for Tesla and Tigard as part of Tesla Takedown. Thursdays at 4 at Tesla and Tigard on Cascade. If you want to go into Portland, Mondays at 4 at Tesla at McAdam. They gather there Mondays from 4 to 5. These are ways you can take action and you can do things. I don't have to tell you to call your reps, call them every day, call your senators, call them every day. And also, let's welcome back Woodlander. He's back to play more music.
And you just can't keep an elected official away from the mic. So I wanted you to get a moment to hear from one of our senators. She was recently promoted to the Senate, Senator Lisa Reynolds.
Hey, thank you all. Wow, what an amazing scene. I'm Lisa Reynolds. I'm a pediatrician, I'm a mother, and I'm the state senator for Portland's West Side over to 185th, a little bit north of here, a little bit of Beaverton. But look, we are having conversations about our state budget, and I am so proud of Oregon values. We have heavily leveraged Medicaid, right? We know that all kids deserve health care coverage regardless of their immigration status. And then we added adults, right? And how dare the federal government tell us how to spend our tax dollars and to override decisions that you all voters have made to take care of the most vulnerable, okay? So hands off our economy, right? Sorry. But mostly hands off our children, hands off our health care, hands off our bodies, hands off our LGBTQ youth, many of whom are my patients. It's an honor to be here with all of you today. I'm going to do a quick selfie and then hand the mic over to another talking head. Hold on. Thank you, Mayor. May I just do a selfie? Yeah. Well, you can start.
Thank you for Lisa Reynolds and Gerritt Rosenthal for stepping in the last minute. And Woodlander, are you ready? Oh, come on.
So we're going to have a little bit more of just wonderful music for you, and then as you wish, you can head back along the streets and let everybody know, hands off Washington County. Can I hear it? Hands off Washington County. Thank you, everyone.